Alright, so before we begin, let's go ahead and start with introduction, starting with our host here, Rena.
Hi, I am Rina and I'm playing as Scarlet tonight. I'm not gonna be doing any accents. I'm sorry. Maybe a little bit when I get angry, but people were judging me when I was doing it. Motherfuckers. But it's okay. I will not do it.
Alright, cool. When we move down, Steve.
Hey, I'm Steve. I'm generally the storyteller for Vancouver by Night. You would probably recognize me over there. And I'll explain something a little bit later, but we're going to be doing something for helping kids with food stuff with Bully, who plays somebody else. So I'm playing Domino, the Bruja.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Sorry.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in game. We'll figure it out in game. Next we have Mr. Bully.
Hey, that's me. I'm Bully. I'm the storyteller over at Table Goth. Just go to our YouTube channel to see our vampire and other very professional games there. Steve hinted at we'll be doing a little thing I put together called No Kindred Hungry, but that's not for a little bit. I'm not going to remember in a couple weeks, and neither will they. So I'll talk about that later. I'll be playing Toledo, the Banu Hakim. And I will be doing an accent because I have dedication, unlike our host.
Wow, is that a challenge?
The shade.
But I sound so drunk when I do the
All right.
accent.
And last but not least, Mike.
Hey guys, that was Mike. I do a bunch of cosplay. I guest star on occasion in Vancouver as an incredible troublemaker. I'm also going to be playing the stream on Wednesdays, also a troublemaker. In this game, I'm playing Mordecai, a very straight, very narrow, very played by the rules torador? Question mark?
Realize they can see your clan symbol, right?
And my pants.
Got him.
Nice. Alright, and I'll be your storyteller this evening. Name's Lou. Most people call me by L. We're here to tell the story of entitled Call of the Abyss. And we'd, of course, love to see these kindred in action for the following week at the start of our actual chronicle, which is next week. However, before we get to that, we must pave a way, paint a pretty picture, and tell the story of how they've come to the Windy City of Chicago. The story begins with a camera and a rather slow spiral descent upon the city proper. As the lights begin to illuminate the city, the darkness from the sun setting to the side begins to creep in. The moon shines fully upon the towering hotels and skyscrapers that form the skyline of which most people see from a distance. We, as the audience, see the quick movements of the local populace as they get ready for the evening activities, ranging in contrast from poorly planned family reunions to semi-awkward dates to a full night of nothing but debauchery. The citizens of Chicago begin their evening rituals as the weekend begins, and we hear the words, "Thank God it's Friday," echo throughout the entirety of the city. Without much effort to listen in, on whatever gossip or news the media pushes down their consumers' throats. But we, the folks behind our monitors and computers and TV screens, don't just see the locals begin their nightly activities. Before we actually get into the city proper, the camera begins to pan over somewhere down south of Illinois in a rather small outpost of a town. The camera looms over and hovers right above a relatively loud street, lined with Harley-Davidsons and motorbikes of the like, right out front of a bar called the Outpost. As we zoom in, we hear the heavy rock and roll play, perhaps AC/DC, from the jukebox within as the indistinct chatter grows louder and louder. Time, relative as of right now, speed up just a little bit as the patrons move in and out of the establishment, people ordering drinks, dancing, and whatnot. But past the wooden tables of tired passerbys and patrons, we see a few individuals wearing almost matching leather jackets. And right down the middle of this leather-biked crowd, or leather-jacketed crowd, we see our Bruja. Why don't you go ahead and describe to us what you look like tonight, Mr. McGregor?
Clan leather jacket all the way. Wearing my Ramones shirt, beat up jeans that have seen probably way too many winters. And, just chilling out, long hair, probably playing cards at the back.
Okay. As you start playing cards with perhaps your gang members and whatnot from your little group, I need you to make the first roll of the evening.
Swell.
With a dexterity and athletics check. As you lay your cards out and play poker and whatnot, we as the audience see a rather loud argument happening right behind you as you lay down perhaps your face cards and whatnot. And we see, as the indistinct chatter grows louder and louder, a chair fly in your direction.
I don't know if that rolled.
It did. Okay. With 2 successes, you see it coming before you. And as you look up, even because you have rapid reflexes and you have celerity, you see this chair come right at you, and you perhaps just move right in the nick of time as you dodge to your right and see that wooden stool just fly past you and smash into bits into the wall behind. You fucking bikers! Get the fuck out of my bar! You hear yelling out from the background as you see 2 individuals begin to get into a scuffle. You recognize one of these individuals to be one of your gang members, your biker members, I mean. Getting into a little bit of a tight argument, getting really confrontational with another gang of some sort. You guys don't seem to be in cahoots right now. You guys are not in a good situation. So, I'd like to ask, what does Mr. McGregor do in this moment?
Well, for the dodge, I basically lean back, still holding onto the cards, and then I just fold them up nicely, put them down on the table, and I stand up, look over, and then I just start walking over real slow.
Okay. As you get closer and closer, you see them begin to push and shove each other. Without a roll, you would know that this is a sort of, this bar you're at, the Outpost. It's not exactly your first time here, but you're not welcome here. The reason for this is because this bar is where usually a rival gang hangs out. And tonight is probably the night they probably notice you and maybe are instigating a little something here. So, what do you do, Mr. McGregor?
This ain't my first rodeo. I'm gonna walk up, making it look like I'm giving shit to one of the guys that's my guys. Like, yo, Bobby, I keep telling you not to get into fights, and then I deck the other guy.
Oof.
And I finish off the sentence with "without me."
All right. Let's see that strength and brawl check, please.
All right, let's go. Strength and brawl.
As this happens, of course, we see the other gang members react to whatever's going on after that, the stool has flown across the room. And with those 3 successes, you just land a sucker punch on this dude's jaw as he kind of flies out and lands upon his ass right on the wooden floor. And all hell breaks loose in the bar as more of these bikers, from all sorts of gangs and corners of the room, they just converge into a messy bar fight.
Would I notice if any of them are kindred?
Wits and awareness, please.
Wits and aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see, where's my awareness? Oh, I got some of that. Yay!
All right.
It's almost as if I made the character.
With 2 successes, you can't be too sure if there's any kindred here, but from what you know, in the streets, this place doesn't belong to anyone. And perhaps you're the only one here. That's not to say that kindred from, are not watching you from a distance, but as of right now, as you look around after sucker punching this dude and setting him straight to the ground, you don't notice anyone that is of kindred kind. But as this this bar continues to, become quite a mess, we'd fast forward just a little bit to when you obviously kick all of their asses and send them out on the street. We see the bar kind of just messed up. Stools broken everywhere, tables flipped over, bottles, shattered glass everywhere. And of course, this is nothing new for you, Dom. You're a biker. This is what you live for.
This is a Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. This is normal shit for you. But what's not normal is that vibration coming from your phone in your pocket. At this time, this early in the night, you wonder,
I'm gonna check
who
the
could
phone.
it be? You see that there's an unknown number there.
Fuck it. It's probably them calling me about AT&T or some shit. Hello?
Could very well be. As you pick up, you hear a little bit of static in the background, but you immediately recognize the voice as he starts speaking to you. Hey, yo, Dom. It's me. It's your Mola. Out of character.
It's my... Sorry again?
Your Mola.
Alright. What do you want?
Just checking in, see how things are going on your end.
Fairly good. I'm setting down roots.
Good. Listen, I've been skipping town for a little bit, leaving the Midwest. Things are happening on both coasts. And from what I hear, shit went down in Russia just a few nights ago.
Shit's
to
always
investigate.
going down in Russia.
Yeah, but this time's different. My feelers are telling me that something big is about to happen to the States. Things have been happening. Shit. I need to investigate a couple things in LA. I got some feelers out in DC too. But I got a little mission for you.
All right.
You see, I've had my eyes on the crown jewel of the Midwest, Chicago. Unfortunately, one of my contacts disappeared there. So, I need you to get in touch with a couple people there. Some brouhaha. Talk to them, see what's going on. See where this rabbit hole leads. I got more info for you. I can't really say much over the phone, but you know how it goes.
Who is it and where do I find him?
There's an Anarch Baron I need you to talk to. Her name's Anita Wainwright. Leads the local Anarchs there. Be careful though. I heard there was some shit with going on with the Anarchs and the Camarilla prince there. I'm not too sure of.
Man, you've been at this a while. You know there's always some shit going on with the Anarchs and the Camarilla.
Yeah, it doesn't help to say it out loud either. You do this for me, I'll owe you one.
You already owe me one.
Let's just say there's more to it than just that. I'll keep in touch.
All right. Where can I find where she usually hang?
On the south side of town, there's a bar called Steve's Lounge. Take it from there.
All right.
The phone just kind of clicks.
What a dick.
Yeah. He is sort of a dick, as we all know. But it is at this point that you notice your beat up, rather, bruised up gang members kind of approach you and say, "Yo, boss." And it's Bobby speaking. "What do we do now? The whole place is a mess. Bar owner's pissed. Do we just skip town or?"
Nah. Help him clean the place. And I pull out like a wad of cash and I hand it to him. It's like, make sure he's paid well. This is our new place.
Bobby nods to you. He's donning his leather studs and whatnot. He's kind of dusted off and he says, "Sure thing, boss." And he takes the wad of cash.
I got something to do. You guys take care of this. I'll be back in a bit.
You, the boss. He kind of nods at you. And you just ride out into the night towards the Chicago proper. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'll get on the Harley and take off.
Hell yeah. All right. And we'll see as the camera kind of zooms out, following Dom in his Harley Davidson right out into the distance towards the windy city of Chicago. But the camera doesn't stop on the south side of town as it kind of moves further and further in, back to the city proper, the downtown district. The camera then lands upon the brightly lit streets across the heavy traffic that is now flowing in and out from all corners of the city proper, past the streetlights, past the corners of the busy district as we head further and further to the north end of town, where the Gold Coast lies. Occupied by the wealthy and the famous, mansions stand properties apart as we see high walls and fences, lavish gated communities, and sports cars that rev and zoom past each other just to prove who really is better and who has the bigger dick among all of these elites. We follow a non-sports type vehicle as we see a black limousine riding around this section of town, heading up as we arrive a little ways uphill towards an extremely large estate. We see from the outside of the tall stone pillars the unnecessarily vast lawns and the semicircle paved driveway lined with the most colorful, the newest, and the most expensive collection of Lambos, Audis, Porsches, or what have yous of the year. Past that, we draw closer and closer towards the wide, double-doored entrance as we hear the slow crescendo of the piece being played by the pianist and accompanying band. The masked crowd, so eloquently dressed to the nines, swaying to and fro as they interlock each other with their arms in a careful dance. Past these typical high society suit and ties and varying degrees of expensive cocktail dresses, we move into a more private room, towards the back of the mansion, as our eyes land upon a very particular individual, surrounded by his own masked sycophants. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell us, what does Mordecai look like this evening?
Mordecai is dressed in a black vest, his wine-colored shirt. He's relaxed. He's not saturated in a hurry. He's not sort of just basking in the adulation of his sycophants.
Okay. And as we zoom in, we catch just a snivel of whatever conversation they're being had. Yes, that is correct. We at the Trust Fund do donate quite a bit to these small organizations. And you hear a bit of a laughter coming from the other sycophants around you, as if they're trying to flex how much resources they have on you, Mr. Mordecai. They look to you beneath those masquerade ball masks, seeing what you have to say about this flex.
It's not so much how much you spend. It's what you spend it on and how willingly you spend it. Anyone can spend money. Everyone has money. They just want to spend it in their own way. It's the willingness to give up what you have.
Okay. With that said, go ahead and make a roll for us, please. It will be either your charisma and your performance, or your charisma and your etiquette. Just to see how much you've impressed this crowd, if you've impressed them. So on roll 20, if it's your...
You might add anything? Or
No.
modify?
Well, you can use your, if you have a merit of beauty, you can definitely use that in this very moment.
do.
If you have acting as a performance specialty, you can add that as well. So that'll be a total of +2 dice. And that is a critical. All right. With 6 successes, the crowd, after those moving words, with a bit of that insight, that intellect from Mordecai himself, the crowd looks up towards each other in a sort of appreciative nods as they kind of admire you in this moment, Mike. And they all perhaps applaud as you perhaps stand there with your serpentine cane, holding on to it so tightly. Oh, actually not tightly, but a little gently as you lean against the wooden desk. Well, Mr. Mordecai, it's such a pleasure to meet you once again, but I believe there are many other activities for the evening for us, one of these masked individuals says, and it is at this point that you hear, that you see, and you would know that there are indeed many proclivities going on in this mansion. It is a party, after all, thrown by you, and beneath these closed doors, behind them, I mean, are much sins to be acted upon. You hear a little bit of, I guess, chatter and a bit of moaning from the nearby door, and you know exactly what's going on back there. And as your curiosity kind of shifts that direction, you feel a bit of a tap on your right shoulder, just behind you. Do you have Sense the Unseen? I believe you do. And as you perhaps look behind you and notice that there's no one there, you unconsciously or subconsciously activate your auspex, the power to see things more than they are. And without a roll, you would notice a particular individual there. He seems to be dressed in a brown trench coat that hangs just beneath his, down to his knees. He wears perhaps an investigator's hat above his head. You see, just from your Sense the Unseen, you can tell that there is something going on with his face. His pointed ears perhaps might be a dead giveaway, but there is nothing else that strikes you more than this Nosferatu, as you realize that it is Martin, one of your very much trusted allies. He gestures with a bit of head motion towards a more secluded room.
I pick up a riding crop, give someone a slap on the way line, hand it off to another person who's similarly dressed in some kind of a swimsuit.
That's right. And for the first time, as we zoom out, we notice the actual masked individuals around you, as they are all in varying degrees of clothing and not wearing anything, actually. Some of them lay bare naked, and the only thing that covers anything, really, is their masquerade ball masks. And you whip out a riding crop as you smack one of these individuals in the back with a loud thump. And you hear just a tiny bit of a moan before you begin to follow our obfuscated individual here, our friend Martin. He leads you to a nearby room as he kind of waits for you to open it, as he would break his obfuscate if he himself, opened the door. I imagine you open it for him. You push the door open, and you notice that it is a dimly lit room. Thankfully, this is an empty room. There is no one occupying it at the moment. And you let him in, and you shut the door behind you. And as you do, you would notice that he drops his obfuscate. And you see him for the first time in quite some time. He gives you a rather warm smile underneath the maw of a jaw that he has. You notice that he pulls out a cigarette box from his trench coat as he flicks it open and offers you one.
Thank you, my friend. You know this. It's bad for you.
He shakes his head. Whatever it is you desire, as he kind of takes it, lights it up, and starts puffing on that cheap cigarette. I got news for you, Mr. Mordecai, he says in a low, rumbly voice.
You didn't sample the canapes on the way down?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Party option. We do not want to sample the canapes before we are at a party.
You see him kind of spit a little bit to the ground. You know that he's not exactly the type to go into these guys' parties, but he does his polite gesture of saying no. I've got better things to do than worry about some party.
We've always been wound too tight, man.
Yeah, well,
You didn't come here to play, so what's on your mind?
he takes off his brown hat as he places it upon the nearby desk. As he says to you, trouble's brewing up in town. In your clan. Well, there's not a lot of you here in the city, but I wanted to know what your opinion was on the influx of kindred moving into the city.
It's always good to have fresh blood.
But that's the thing. From what I'm hearing, there's more and more fledglings coming in than there are elders, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But something else is bothering me, and I can't shake this fucking feeling off.
Feeling
Thin bloods. Goddamn lawless kindred. They're all over the goddamn city.
city has rats.
Yeah, but not these kinds. Never liked them, really. These duskborn, he says as he holds up his leathery fingers and puts up these two fingers and kind of does the air quotes.
You could take one as a pet.
Takes another long drag from his cigarette before he puts it out on the table itself, not paying any respect whatsoever to the kind decor and the oak that was very, very finely built for you. But he says with a low garbled voice, there's also the shit happening in Europe. Apparently some SBOT members have been spotted all over, moving and making some sort of waves in the eastern end of things.
Anything over here then?
Look, I'll cut straight to it. The others are getting nervous. Some of the elders, well, they're not liking this influx of kindred and, well, seeing as how unpredictable these millennials are, it's getting a little bit difficult to control the populace, if you know what I mean.
If you... Last thing we need is to get crowded.
Yeah.
I'll ask around, see what I can dig up. I'll let you know. We need to start packing things before too long.
He nods in appreciation.
It's one thing you and I do, my friend. Survive.
Damn right. Of course, I didn't come here to drop all this information on you. I've come with a little more interesting piece. It's not just thin bloods that are arriving in the city. From my sources, I heard there's these 3 fledglings coming in from Russia. One of them seems to be of my clan, another of gangrel descent, and one that's Torador. I don't know. These 3 have something fishy going on about them. They smell like Sabbat to me, but maybe you can look into this for me.
I can have a look. See if I can unearth not many tunnels I can include.
All right.
May not be able to find out much about them. Pretty sure I can shake the tree.
He nods at you as he grabs his hat, puts it back on. If you need anything, just give me a
I
call.
always ask you first.
Yeah.
That's why we're friends.
Indeed, he says. But I got things to do. People to see. And fledglings to look out for.
Have a can of bay on your way. Never take me up on this.
He nods stoically. But beneath that hat, you see his rather bright brown eyes flash at you. Keep in touch, old friend. He nods, and he takes his leave. It is at this point, as you perhaps follow Martin as he begins to cloak himself with the office gate, that as you step out, you can go ahead and roll a wits and awareness, please.
Everybody take a shot.
As we see Mordecai
There's
step out of
modifiers?
this. Unless you have any specialties for awareness. Nope. As we see him kind of step out of the second floor private room, we notice that the Masquerade ball happening right now downstairs is, well, it's getting more and more lively as people begin to remove articles of clothing, as we see acts of debauchery begin to intensify. But with those 3 successes, you would notice a particular individual roll up to your party. A particular individual that is not wearing a mask as of right now, but you notice her just before she puts on a half Masquerade ball mask. As she puts it on, you see that she has silvery blonde hair that is combed to the side. She's wearing a very elegant and tight-fitting dress that accentuates her curve, and her torador natural beauty that simply emanates from her so naturally and begins to draw massive amounts of attention. You see no one other than the torador Primogen as she enters your little party. Her bright, crystal, piercing blue eyes shifts around the room as she gives a wicked smile across her face, and her French features fall upon yours as you meet eyes with her. And a torador Primogen in your party? Well, I guess you can say this will be quite an interesting night for you, my friend. And we'll pause the scene here as we see Mordecai smile back at Annabelle Treabelle. And we'll bounce the camera towards a rather small temple, maybe a church located on the lower west end of the city. Outside we see this perhaps a 3-story tall building. It's a little run down, but it's very functional. We hear the church bells ring as as the clock hits perhaps around 9 o'clock. And as we zoom in through the stone walls and whatnot from the second floor, we descend down with the audience as we see in the very tight corner of the room an entranceway that leads downstairs to where the living quarters are. within this vicinity, we see two individuals perhaps having a light-hearted conversation. One of them stands about 5'4", 5'5". She's an elderly woman, wrinkles on her face. Her hair hangs down to her side, up to her chest perhaps, with graying hairs. Her features give a little bit too much away, as we see that she is perhaps over the age of 50, maybe 60. But her stature, the way she stands, is very much that of a warrior, maybe that of a combatant. We can't tell for now, but as she turns around, we follow her with the camera swiveling, and we see Toledo for the first time. Mr. Bully, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your character looks like?
Pleasure. Toledo is, what you see is what you get here. Very much blends a little bit of his traditional style back from a simpler time when he was turned. Cowboy hat, bolo tie, paps. But he's a man of the cloth as well. Inducted into a church that was kind enough to take him in when all seemed lost. So he does wear his collar, all buttoned up black shirt, black name. He's always carrying around some sort of case with him, whether a guitar case, a suitcase. He's got a lot of belongings that he likes to keep here. Usually not found with him. Sometimes a large, just very simple floor-length coat. In case he's really traveling with a lot, but normally this is his uniform, his everyday outfit. Of course, the thing that sticks out a little bit is he does have a few face tattoos, as well as if someone were to peek under the cloth as other markings elsewhere. You usually don't find on men of faith. You'll find them on Toledo.
Okay. In this rather interesting formal getup, we see Sister Isadora kind of align with this theme, the way she's dressed. She doesn't dress like a typical nun, or what have you, but she does dress modestly, as she wears a long sort of attire that covers her neck and her arms and whatnot, all donned black, of course. But as she kind of swivels and turns around towards you, you see her kind of dusting off your shoulders, kind of checking to see if you have perhaps cleaned or trimmed your beard, fixed your hair a little bit. Very motherly in this very moment as she says, remember to brush your teeth. It's not polite to feed when you have that stinky bad breath of yours.
I know. You tell me every night. Got it under control. Freshly brush and I'll flash a fang at her. Squeaky clean.
Good.
Now don't be
Well,
bothering me like this. This is a new place and I don't want anyone to see you mothering me. This is my chance to be a little more independent, so let's keep that in mind, shall we?
she kind of sours her face as you say this to her, and this little thing you have going on is very normal, and this is what a typical night for Toledo is. But she pays no mind to what you're saying, and she adjusts your hat a little bit, making sure you look the utmost best for the evening. Well, since we are new here, I guess I'll let you off for one night, but do take care of yourself. There's things going on. The diocese upstairs is, well, I'm not sure if you'd like to introduce yourself to him, but it would be nice for him to know that you're here. Don't worry, he knows of the activities going on and the weird things in the city, but he pays no mind to that. What he cares about are the youth.
Well, you found us one that I could be myself around a little bit?
Well, it is up to you. You haven't introduced yourself, but he clearly knows there's something going on with me, given the fact that I haven't aged a day since we met. And she kind of winks at you.
I say a couple extra lines there, but that just might be a lick my tongue a little bit, and nope, yeah, those are more wrinkles. That's all right. I'll make my introductions then. Interested to see what sort of setup you found for us this time.
I think you might find this city more exciting than the last.
I do like exciting. I don't like cities. We'll make do.
She nods at you as she begins to pick up whatever books she's carrying, perhaps the Holy Bible itself, as she leads the way out of your little room, and she moves upstairs past the stone staircase that leads to the first floor area. And as you do, go ahead and roll a wits and awareness, please.
Well. I'm gonna use my first willpower of the evening, if that's all right.
All right, let's see that willpower roll. You may reroll up to 3 dice.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, as you go upstairs, perhaps you're a little too distracted about what, this new city. Maybe you're a little annoyed of Sister Isidora, as she's treating you like a child as usual. And you don't seem to notice anything strange. You do notice that there are a few people here and there, maybe just a handful, but what you do notice, because of Sister Isidora approaching this person, is a rather middle-aged individual. He seems to be perhaps in his late 40s, early 50s. He's got graying brown hairs. He wears spectacle glasses above his nose bridge. He has a bit of a frown on his face, a look of concern, perhaps, as you see Sister Isidore begin to converse with this individual wearing a black vest and a, what seems to be professor attire. My question to you, Toledo, is what do you do? Do you simply follow, or do you begin your night separating away from Sister Isidora?
She suggested I make my introductions.
Might be a good idea. Okay. As you approach Minister, he looks you up and down. He gives you a rather weak smile, but you see the creases over his eyes as you notice that he's somewhat a bit worried about something. You can't tell without a roll. Yes, Minister, this is my associate. He likes to go by Toledo these days.
Pleasure. Take the hat off, scruff my hair a little bit, which probably doesn't really help. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you again for taking in me.
Minister Thomas, please introduce yourself to my associate. Minister Thomas kind of remains quiet for a moment, studying you, Toledo. And he looks you up and down once more as he smiles warmly for the first time, as he says, "Please, the pleasure is all mine. You may call me Minister Thomas. I am the local diocese here in this chapel. It's always nice to see a fresh young face here in the city."
Fresh and young, that is what they call me. So, anything interesting of note I should be aware of? How can I help you?
It is at this point that you may go ahead and roll a wits and insight check, as you see him pinch the bridge of his nose and he kind of adjusts his spectacle glasses, and you can tell something's off. well, with one success, you know that something's going on as he kind of tells you, well, a lot of lost souls coming to the city as of late. Some more lost than the others. But local youth here, and he kind of turns around, eyeing the people behind him, and you see across from his shoulders a few individuals. They seem to be no older than 19, 20. There seems to be of college age, and they're all wearing college attires. You see one particular individual that catches your eye. One that is nervous. Perhaps it is your instinct that tells you, or maybe it is just the way you see things, but you see this individual. He seems to have brown hair, a very worried look on his face. You see that he's very, very thin. As you can see that his cheekbones protruding, and his demeanor seems to be that of paranoid, per se. As the local diocese turns around to you, he says some of them more disturbed than others of their age.
Most troubling. So, what is it that we do here specifically to help?
Well, we have this mentorship program where our younger ordained staff or members guide these lost souls to perhaps lead them astray or lead them towards the proper direction from where they've come from, the paths they've taken, the mistakes they've committed in life. And though we bear no judgment against them, we are, of course, ministers and of the church. We need to be firm in our ways of guidance.
Firm. I could do that. Spent a good chunk of my life as a lost soul myself, so usually not much of a mentor. I'll give it a shot if that's what you'd like me to do. Pretty hip with things.
Well, if you are offering your mentorship, whatever you have, it would be most appreciated, as we do have a lot of these youth coming in seeking penitence here in this chapel. But perhaps you can watch over this individual. His name is Mr. Colin Watts. He is no older than 18, I believe. He's come in from time to time, and it seems fate is on your side, as it's been a month since we last saw him. Before that, we used to see him on a regular basis, perhaps a few times a week. But he seems to have dropped off contact with all of us, and tonight is he looks back once again. Very interesting surprise.
Yeah, let me, if there's nothing else you need from me, perhaps I'll pay him a visit now, if that's alright.
He nods at you as he says, please do try to enjoy your stay here in Chicago, Mr. Toledo. There are many things to do and many souls to guide.
I think I might like it here. I'm a pretty easy guy to get along with. I fit in anywhere.
He nods at you as you can see a bit of admiration in his face, perhaps a hint of jealousy, as he himself has, well, he's not exactly approachable from his resting, unfriendly face. But he begins to step away as Sister Isidora turns to you and says, remember, behave yourself. We have yet to announce your presence in the city.
Oh yeah, we do that now. Part of the club. Right. Yeah, I'll behave. Actually, you mind being my wing woman a little bit on this? You know I'm not so good with I've been told I'm comfortable, if you could believe it. Sort of
She
punch her in the arm. Probably a really weird sight seeing a priest punching out in the arm, but
It is. From our point of view, we see this little jab at Sister Isidore. She doesn't flinch or anything. She just stands there sulkily, but she does act a little dramatic after you've punched her. And she kind of gives out a, "Oh, please don't break these old frail bones of mine, young one."
I
She
tried.
chuckles.
And I will approach. It was Colin.
Colin Watts.
I'll approach. I tell Sister Store, be around within earshot, but rescue me if things go. He knows the truth.
She nods at you. And as you approach Colin, he notices you. You see his nervous eyes shoot up at you as he begins to notice these two ordained individuals approaching him at a rather calm pace, but you can see without a roll that his nervousness grows, his anxiety perhaps kicks in as he begins to move out of the pews and turn on his heels and move towards the direction of where the exit lies. My question to you is, Toledo, do you speed up and give chase, or do you simply follow him?
I'll stop, act like I was about to speak to someone else, keeping him in my peripherals. And I will, if he's exiting the building, I'll give him a second and then exit after.
Okay, so you are following him just a little bit behind. And we see this as we see Colin exit out. You see as he kind of holds his backpack close to him nervously as his eyes shift left and right, and we move out of the local chapel as he begins to walk faster and faster and faster to a nearby alleyway down the street. What do you do?
I have a moment of myself at any time along this pursuit, glancing around to make sure I'm unnoticed. I want to use unseen passage and silence of death, if that's okay.
That would be perfect. Of course, Sister Isidore knows exactly what you're gonna do, as you perhaps give her a side eye, and she turns away from you, giving you time to cloak yourself and obfuscate. And the beast within you gnaws as you rouse it a little bit to use its gifts. But you're not exactly at a very high hunger level. You're only at hunger 2, so it's fine. And you mask yourself in this invisibility cloak, per se. And what do you do, Mr.
Follow
Toledo?
into the alleyway.
Perfect. And we'll pause the scene there for you as we begin to move out of the chapel itself and onto the street down the road. And we'll zoom out of here and bounce the camera towards a more populated direction. Towards the Bronzeville area, we see a particular school, a property of which we notice from the outside with a carved, kind of etched markings outside, out in the front, an old piece of wood that says Stuart Freeman Academy that is attached to a particular stone fence, or wall, rather. We move in closer and closer as we notice 3 particular individuals. The first is a rather tall and lanky kindred. He seems to be wearing a black hoodie that kind of covers most of his face. We see that he has pointed ears beneath that hood. His long, extended fingernails kind of poking out of whatever gloves he's wearing. And the black hoodie that he wears, it looks a little too small for him as it hugs his lanky figure. beside him stands a red-haired individual who seems to be carrying a white albino water snake that kind of curls around her fingernails, playfully as it kind of pokes its head out, kind of licking the air and whatnot, seeing if, what the heck's going on in this particular establishment. Next to this red-haired, beautiful individual is yet another stunning princess of a torador, as we see for the first time. Scarlet, go ahead and describe to us what you look like.
I am wearing a red off-shoulder dress, kind of, and accompanying it is a very red headband, and of course it's a rose collar to complete the look.
Okay. And without a roll for anyone watching as the audience, this particular torador is, well, she's attractive to say the least, as the three of you walk in through the stone pavement of this academy. There are eyes that turn from the students and whatnot. Eyes are glued upon the three of you, perhaps not because of your companions, but because of you, Scarlet. As you notice that from what you're walking on to the sides, what seems to be a long kind of hallway that has rooms kind of adorning each and every corner. To the left-hand side of this large building is a left wing, perhaps from where students go to study, and a particularly mysterious right wing to the side. And you don't see much there. It's very dark in that area. But what you do immediately notice is a woman standing right in the middle of the courtyard. She seems to be wearing a black velvet loose dress that seems to be shoulderless. She wears a necklace that kind of has a silver compass or locket that hangs beneath just beneath her neck. She is of African American descent. She has long, dark hair that kind of falls to her shoulders and whatnot, and she has very prominent features that accentuate her beauty. You would notice this particular individual. She, with her hands clasped together to her front, approaches the three of you. She smiles as she sees Brian, the Nosferatu. She gives another weak smile to the gangrel in between you, Frankie, and then she looks towards you. She eyes you up and down, and she gives you a very warm smile as she says, "And here you three are finally. I've been waiting for your arrival."
And you are?
Oh, I will be your mentor.
Oh,
My name is Naomi Stewart, owner and founder of the Stewart Freeman Academy, the place of which you stand in.
it is nice to meet you. I'm Scarlett. These are my companion. It's Frankie and Brian.
A pleasure to meet all of you, as she says as she extends her arm out to Brian, who shakes it rather suspiciously. Frankie kind of just eyes her hand as she does so, but she eventually shakes it as a form of courtesy, and then she shakes yours. She takes you by the hand and grasps it firmly. Scarlet, very, very nice to meet you finally. Please, this way, she says as she leads the three of you towards the center of this establishment as she begins to tour you around the place. As you can see, we have many students here, perhaps on their way to find their purpose or to find higher education. The Stuart Freeman Academy, prides itself on its proteges, its products. That's not to say that we are the best among the best, but we are in relative competition with a rather interesting school perhaps you've heard of. Have you perhaps heard of the University of Chicago, my dear?
No.
Good.
I'm very new to the America.
You'll get used to the city sooner or later. As she kind of nods at Frankie and Brian as well, as she kind of gestures towards the right-hand side to the right wing. As you walk through these long stone halls, your footsteps kind of echo and reverberate throughout the place as more and more students kind of pop their head out from the side, just giving a good look at the three of you. You hear a few whispers here and there, perhaps saying, "Oh, it's new student. Oh my god, she's so fucking hot, holy shit." As you hear these whispers, and saying, you hear one of them say, "Damn, whatever happened to that guy's face? Damn, look at his skin." And Miss Stewart just gives them a quick glance, kind of annoyed and commanding at the same time, as they begin to kind of shuffle out and perhaps avert their gaze from this crowd. Eventually, the three of you get to the right wing, where it's dimly lit, as mentioned, and you begin to realize why it's dimly lit, as Stewart begins to explain. "Please, these will be your dormitories for now. I hope you find it to your liking. You may place your things within each of your rooms I've prepared, and feel right at home, as this will be your haven for the next few months as you all partake in our curriculum, specially designed for younger kindred such as yourselves." You hear a groan from Frankie and Brian as they hear and realize that they're going back to school.
Ugh. It's not that long, maybe. It's not that bad. As I look around the room, what do I see in the dormitory?
As you open the room next to you, to your right, you would notice that it is a very tight room in comparison to your old room. This is perhaps just a quarter of the size. You see that there is a bed, a single bed on the left-hand side. Doesn't look very comfortable, to be honest. Across that, just a few feet away, to the side, you see a large bookcase that stands, just a few feet above you, or I guess towers over you. And next to that is a wooden desk with a wooden chair. Underneath you is a bit of cheap fabric carpet. And if you perhaps look around, you don't notice anything at all. The walls are blank, the ceiling is dull, and the only thing that illuminates this place is the lamp that is kind of on the table, on the corner of the table itself. You would also notice that the window is boarded off.
It's... I guess
Something the matter, Miss Leanne, was it?
Oh, nothing. It's a bit bare. It's a bit plain is the word.
She raises an eyebrow at you. And she begins to sigh unnecessarily. It is always the young ones that need to learn the most. Miss Willows, Mr. Thompson, please proceed to your rooms and make yourselves comfortable while I have a little chat with our torador. Both Frankie and Brian appreciatively nod at her as they enter their havens for now. And she stands there stoically, just staring into your eyes, Scarlet. Do you find the amenities not suiting, Miss Leanne?
No, this,
Please, I'd like to hear your input on this, as she carefully studies your face.
it's plain. Is it possible to redecorate or?
Yes, of course, you may redecorate. As you wish, please treat this as your own room. However, I find it very difficult to believe the lack of respect for my establishment, coming from someone I am sponsoring at the moment. It hasn't been 20 minutes since you crossed the boundaries of my domain, Miss Leanne, and you've already paid no respect to my establishment.
I do apologize. It's been a long month for me.
Our lessons begin in about a half hour. Please, put your belongings down, make yourself at home, and meet us at the private library just down the hall. We will be speaking about the traditions.
Okay.
She gives you one last up and down look as she turns on her heels and leaves, leaving you to your own devices. What do you do, Scarlet?
Well, I am going to drop my bag at the bed and then go straight to where Frankie and Brian is and figure out what our plan is here aside from studying.
As you poke your head out, you would notice that they too have their heads poked out as they seem to have been eavesdropping. Frankie gives you a shrug while Brian just kind of clears his throat as he says, well, that went well.
She's a bitch. I mean, she's a very pleasant lady.
You see Frankie hold her finger up as she kind of shushes you. Don't say that. That's very rude.
I'm just saying what
He's sponsoring us, Scarlet.
Don't even know why we're here aside from.
I mean, it's better than where we were before. I mean, the shitstorm that we were in. Frankie says. I kind of like it here. Brian kind of, exudes out of his mouth as he kind of gives you a smile with his fanged teeth.
Of course you like it here. It's
Yeah.
very plain.
I think one of the students may have checked me out, he says to you.
If you say so, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think this is gonna be fine. She said meet in an hour, right? I'm really excited to meet our our classmates.
Not really excited to be back in school.
Oh, it'll be fine, Frankie says as you see the snake kind of trail along her shoulders.
Well, I'd probably look around before that. I don't even know where the fuck the library is.
Go ahead and roll your wits and awareness, please, Scarlet.
It's an awareness.
Take a shot.
Take another shot. finna get drunk tonight. With one success, you look around and you're already lost, Scarlet. You have no idea where you are. You just know this particular location. You're in the dormitory area, and that's about it. You're gonna have to rely on Frankie and Brian to find your way in this place.
Either that or ask somebody, one of the students.
And as you kind of poke around a little bit, you would notice another individual kind of eyeing you from her dormitory door. As you see a black-haired woman. She seems to be around her early 20s. She has very dark eyes, black ebony hair, full lips. She doesn't seem to be concerned too much, but she does seem a little more on the curious side of things. But as you notice her, she begins to retreat back into her room quickly as she shuts the door behind her and locks it.
Seriously, where the fuck are the people around?
Well, that was weird, Brian says.
It's not really that weird. We are new people here.
They both shrug their shoulders. And as the three of you kind of have your little intermingling session now, being alone for the first time in a while, we'll pause the scene there as we bounce the camera back over to Mr. McGregor. Dom, you finally arrive at Steve's lounge. As you kind of park your Harley Davidson in the nearby parking lot just around the corner, you would notice that there are quite a few other bikes here, adorning the same style. Some punks outside seem to be relatively harmless. They throw you a few dirty looks here and there, but given your demeanor, your natural demeanor, they kind of quickly look away and, continue their rather hushed conversation. Outside, you see this, this one-story establishment. Doesn't seem very big, but on the awning outside, it does say in clear, big letters, Steve's Lounge. You hear a bit of that familiar rock and roll playing from the jukebox from within. A little bit of chatter here and there, but it's the beginning of the night. It's around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So there's not very many people here, even though it is a Friday evening.
What was the name of the person I'm looking for again?
Anita Wainwright.
So I'm gonna just walk up the front door, kind of push it in. If there's anybody there, I'm gonna make them hurt.
Okay, you just push it with full force then.
Yeah.
Make a grand entrance. Okay, without a roll, you have potence, right? So this is quite an easy feat to do. You push the front door, the metal door, to the side, and you hear a disgusting thud as you immediately hit a person behind the door itself, who's kind of just hunched over to the back, as you hear a loud "ouch, fuck," as you kind of, you peek around the corner. You see a rather lanky, punk-looking dude who seems to have been hit in the shoulder by that metal door. As you walk in, go ahead and roll your wits and awareness, please. Take another shot as well.
And take a shot. All right. Let's see. Awareness. Here it is.
Okay, it's not a very high difficulty at 1 anyway. So as you walk in, you would notice there's a few patrons here and there, just maybe a dozen or so spread across. There's a few circular round tables, which you can see some of the people kind of hunched over, minding their own business, perhaps talking amongst themselves and whatnot. By the bar to your left, you see the bartender kind of just standing there, eyeing you up and down as he gives you a nod. You see a few passerbys or what have yous kind of hunched over as well by the bar. look over your direction as you make that grand entrance of yours, but they continue to sip on their mugs as they continue their evening without making any trouble. What do you do, Mr. McGregor?
I'm gonna, as I survey the scene, gonna reach over, I'm assuming he was on my left, grab the skinny kid by the shoulder that I injured, and kind of drive my thumb into it.
Ow! Hey, man! I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems. Okay?
And I'm gonna pull him real close, and I'm gonna be like, "Where's Anita Wainwright?"
You pull him closer and closer, and as this kid's immortal, he doesn't offer much resistance. He kind of says, what the fuck, man? Hey, let me go. I don't know shit. I don't know who the hell Anita Wainwright is. Shit, is she some crack addict? Fuck.
Useless. And I push him out the door.
And you kind of just throw him out, and he lands on his ass outside as you now have drawn more attention to you. The bartender continues to clean whatever mug he's cleaning or whatever shot glass there is as he continues to pour drinks and whatnot for people, but he just eyes you up and down continually.
I kind of look for the biggest badass looking guy that I can find in there.
Okay. All right. So as you look around, perhaps trying to figure out who's the boss here, who rolls this joint, you would notice this individual. He seems to be 6'2". He's got a beard going on. It's kind of wild. His hair is all over the place. He's got dark circles under his eyes. He has like a toothpick being carried by his mouth. He's perched on his mouth. He's wearing some sort of heavy bomber jacket. He seems to be on a huskier side of things, as you can see his muscles kind of lined by his whatever he's wearing, and he seems to be just standing on the corner. He's just kind of has his arms crossed, and he's looking at you up and down.
Excellent. So I'm gonna walk up to him, and I'm just gonna punch him right in the gut.
Okay. All right. Let's make things violent right away. Go ahead and roll your strength and brawl.
Me violent? Never. It never happens.
And my question: are you activating any of your disciplines?
Nope.
Okay. Just wondering.
Let's go with charisma and brawl. Okay.
Okay. With 4 successes, he eyes you up and down as you perhaps nonchalantly walk up to him, just like you did earlier this night. You punch him right in the gut as you rear back and land a cold one right in his stomach. And as you do this, you would feel something strange that hits as you make contact with your fist. It's tougher than any average human. There's
Perfect.
a bit of a ring on your knuckles as you do this, but he kind of winces a little bit as he kind of gets pushed back as he says, "What the fuck?" as he kind of swings at you as well. So this is the start of a new turn, as that was kind of an ambush attack. So go ahead and roll if you want to. Roll your dodge.
Does he like kind of bend over and then come up and?
Yeah, he does that. Yeah.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna grab his head in a clinch and then knee him in the gut again.
Ooh, all right. So this might be a contested roll, but yeah,
as much potence as I can throw behind it.
Okay.
Since you said he's tough.
He does have toughness activated. Well, not toughness, but he just has his fortitude. But in any case, if you're activating your prowess, go ahead and roll a rouse check, please.
Ready. Where is the rouse check on this thing?
Okay, it should be at the bottom of your sheet on the left-hand corner.
Rouse. There we go. Oh shit.
Okay, and you get hungrier, and as you kind of ask the beast to lend you a bit of its strength to activate your discipline, your prowess. It does so, but it gnaws at your throat, letting you know that it's there. It needs vitae. But yeah, go ahead and roll your strength and brawl once again.
It's another 4.
Okay. He has to roll his as well. Okay. 4 against a 4. Okay. So this is not a contested roll, as the both of you just do damage to each other as you kind of grab his face and kind of just knee him right to the cheek and jaw. You hear a disgusting thud, but as you do this, he kind of lunges backwards. His back kind of bends in a disgusting way, but he at the same time kind of veers to the side with his arm as he punches you right in the face, and you take 4 superficial damage, halved to 2, as he also has taken quite a bit of damage. You hear a bit of a crack on your face, but it doesn't hurt too much. Dom, you're used to this shit. So, it is the top of the new round. What do you do?
I'm gonna uppercut him.
Alright, let's see. 1 more strength and brawl.
Ooh, I'm gonna willpower that.
Alright. Let's see that willpower reroll. You can reroll up to 3 dice. Hopefully you crit. Oof.
Wow.
With 2 successes. Let's see. At this point, he is a little agitated at you, so he's not going to dodge. He's just going to go for it. This is another bar fight for him. Okay, 2 against 3. Alright, so as you uppercut him, it lands true, but you know that you could have done a bit more damage with that. But you do have prowess activated, so it hurts still quite a bit. But as you uppercut him, you deliver this blow. He kind of rears back with his left arm, and he punches you right in the gut as you take another 3 superficial damage, halved, rounded up, so that would be 2. So you take a total of 2 superficial damage. Alright, what the fuck? He says to you as he kind of pushes you off to the side, and you see the commotion around you as a few seconds have taken place. You notice that there are people now trying to exit the vicinity as things are beginning to heat up, but you hear a loud, thunderous voice behind you from a rather short woman who seems to be of a very fit and athletic build. And you hear the words, "Alright, what the fuck is happening here?" And as you turn around, you see this individual. She seems to have her part of her left, side of her head kind of shaved, while the other side is long and has this rather beautiful design about them, or style about them. She adorns these hoop earrings, or not hoop earrings, rather, black earrings that hang from underneath her ears. She wears a leather jacket and a black tank top, along with some black fitting jeans as well. She has both her hands to her hips, kind of like in a motherly fashion, as she says, "Who the hell is this, Duncan?"
Duncan?
The gangrel who you've just gotten a scuffle with kind of snarls at you, lets out a disgusting howl as he says, "This fucker started fucking fight for no reason!"
Got accomplished what I wanted to get accomplished. I'm assuming you're Anita.
She raises an eyebrow at you as she smiles. "Damn right I am. Baroness of the South Side. The fuck do you want?"
You should get better guards.
should learn better manners. This is my domain.
Right. Baron. Got it. Theo sent me.
The moment you mention Theo, her eyes kind of light up. Her shoulders, which were tense, are now kind of relaxed just a tiny bit, but she eyes you with suspicion. Theo. Theo Bell.
Do you know any other Theos? Huxtable,
Alright,
maybe?
Alright, smartass. Just making sure. Why the fuck are you here?
He sent me to look for one of his contacts.
Oh, shit, she says underneath her breath. She looks towards the gangrel behind you, still snarling and throwing dirty looks. And she kind of waves him off with just a slight gesture.
What does he do from that point?
He snarls at you once again. But he holds back his rage and simply follows her orders as he stands to the side.
You want to give this guy a bone or something to chew on while you and I actually have a civilized conversation?
Oh, shit. Alright, well, you don't have to make any rules for this. He does. He needs to. He's gonna lose his shit. Let's make a resolve and composure roll for him real quick. Oh, he keeps his cool. He barks at you in his own way as he says, "Shh. If Juanita wasn't here, I would have ripped your head off already."
Yeah, well, I ain't got any chew toys, so you're gonna have to fuck off.
Anita, I swear to God. And Anita just kind of shushes him. Get the fuck out, McTavish. I don't need you right now. Adults are talking. Duncan completely picks up the jukebox next to him as he kind of just rips it to shreds as you notice his claws have been extended now, protruding, and he breaks the actual device itself. But he fucks off right away.
He's not
Exits
gonna
the
pee
building.
on anything on the way out, is he?
She holds her hand up. Enough. What's your name?
Domino McGregor.
She raises an eyebrow. The leader of that biker gang?
The same.
Huh. Bell really did send one of his better associates this time. Have a seat. Want anything to drink?
Hey, got any 20-year-olds?
She rolls her eyes at you. Alcohol.
Alcohol. That's funny.
She rolls her eyes once again as she takes a seat across from you. Alright. If Bell sent you, then things must be getting pretty hairy out there. I'll cut straight to the chase. One of our contacts have gone missing. A Malkavian by the name of Michael Strums. He's our contact with the Camarilla. He used to come in once a week to report whatever it is, whatever bullshit the Camarilla's pulling, but he hasn't come in for the past 3 weeks. We need someone to find him. The best way to go about that, of course, is to ask around within the fucking ivory tower. She rolls her eyes again.
Yeah, they're kind of useful. So why haven't you found him?
There's shit between. Let's just say there's shit between these ivory licks and the anarchs. Are not exactly on good standings. And they don't want to tell us anything either. Whatever these fucking elders are keeping from us, It's big.
Should be pretty small. You just haven't housebroken your pets yet. They don't want to invite you around the nice places.
Another shady, stink eye look comes your way as she rolls her eyes once again. Listen. You're either doing this or not for us, alright? Are you
What?
Anarch? Are you even Anarch?
I ain't doing this for you. I'm doing this for Theo.
Whatever.
There's a difference. I work for higher ups. You are small potatoes. You just have the information that I needed.
If I wasn't pushed a corner, I wouldn't let that slide, but since Belle, and she kind of grits her teeth at you, her fists balling up, and you can see the brouhaha rage in her eyes at this point, kind of bellowing. So, you find our contact, and we'll owe you one. How's that?
You already owe me one for not housebreaking your dog.
She licks the top of her teeth at you, seeing a little bit of agitation from her demeanor. But she simply nods, reluctantly. Elysium will take place tomorrow night. You can start there.
You should consider joining my gang. Use somebody like you.
Now that needs to be a role for you, Domino. Are you perhaps intimidating her, or are you actually trying to persuade her?
That's just persuasion.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion, please. Gonna be a bit of a high difficulty here, as
Yeah.
it is Anita. Okay, that is a messy critical. Okay, with 5 successes, you say those words leave your mouth, and a bit of your inner beast comes out at the moment as your fangs kind of pop, seeing as how you want her to, just wanting to see how she reacts to this. You kind of snarl at her, staring daggers into her eyes, while she tries to keep her composure. She shakes her head a little bit. Maybe some other time, handsome, but not tonight. Nor anytime soon. I've got shit to deal with.
Well, I'm gonna leave you with a bit of advice. And I get up from the stool that I'm sitting on before I leave. And as Domino goes out the door, he looks over his shoulder and says, generally you should hit him with a rolled up newspaper. And he leaves.
Okay. And we see this grand exit on par with his grand entrance as Domino retreats from Steve's lounge after getting the information he needed. And where does Dom head off into the night now?
Probably gonna go back to that bar. Wait for Elysium the next night.
Okay. Alright. No problem whatsoever. As we see Domino get back on his Harley Davidson from our peripheral vision, we see that gangrel earlier, Duncan, still kind of snarling, a little bit pissed at this point. Well, not a little bit, he's very pissed right now as he snarls at you one last time, but you take your leave coolly and drive off into the distance.
As I ride by, I just keep a straight face and just go,
Alright. Okay. Alright, and we see this gangrel just completely lose his shit as he drives off into the distance. And we'll pause the scene there for Domino as he heads back to the southern Illinois area, back to his newly acquired bar. And we bounce the camera back, rewinding time just a tiny bit, to the mansion of which our ministry member is throwing a party in. We left with Annabelle kind of eyeing you with her piercing blue eyes, smiling all the while the music kind of begins to liven up a little bit as people begin to waltz to and fro, and while others begin to exit towards their private rooms to commit more acts of sin. What do you do now that the Torador Primogen is here, Mr. Mordecai?
Well, I'll greet her as she comes up the steps.
Okay.
And I'll say, won't you step into my parlor? So it's fine.
She gives
I'm
you...
bound very rigid.
Okay, actually, before we do anything, go ahead and roll your charisma and etiquette, please, as you present yourself to the Primogen. So you can add, of course, your famed dice to this, as she knows very well who you are.
Wherever I heard that motorcycle from, that's perfect. Yeah, just stick with that.
I add fame.
You can add your fame dice to it. I believe you have a certain amount. And if you have...
Do I add beauty?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Oof. That's so good.
Would you like to re-roll 3 dice? Or
Yeah.
would you leave it at that?
I might. I think I might, actually.
Okay, you can re-roll up to 3 dice.
That's where the willpower spend?
Yep, there should be a button underneath your willpower bar that says WP reroll.
I know.
Holy crap, okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's better.
that's a whole turnaround. 5, that is 7 total successes on that crit. And as you present yourself to this Primogen of the Toreador clan, you gracefully bow along with your cane, of course, and there is a certain elegance in the way you do this, to the point that even Annabelle herself gives you the same amount of respect, as she too clasps her chest and bows to you in a very gentlewoman-like way. As the both of you come up at the same time, she gives you a rather wicked smile, and she takes your arm. And you, both of you, I imagine, walk into a particular private room. Perhaps the room of which you had your meeting in with Martin. Or do you choose a different room, Mr. Mordecai?
I'm wondering if I know her already, and how much I would know of her predilections.
Okay.
If she has any particular tastes.
Great question. Roll your wits, intelligence, and your politics, please. Not a very high difficulty, as Annabelle is very, very well known.
It's insight?
Sure, you can roll insight as well here. Either one.
Insight's better. I have a specialty in insight, actually. No, I don't. Never mind.
Remember that you guys can rouse the blood. You guys are of that blood potency that gives you a lot of dice.
It's a penalty for rousing?
No. Yes.
Just a rouse check?
A rouse check adds 2 dice, I believe. But yeah, the only penalty is a rouse check. You may get hungrier.
Yeah, let's do it. The night is young.
Indeed it is. And you fail. You get a little bit hungrier. The monster within you claws and grips at your stomach, letting you know it's there. But it does aid you in this particular test, as you roll 4 successes. And you would know that Annabelle is very well known throughout the city. Matter of fact, with those 4 successes, I would say that you know Annabelle quite well, to the point that I just repeated myself, that she had a chance to run for prince, to claim praxis over the city. But she didn't. It was about 20, maybe 30 years ago that the War of Chicago happened. And instead of, taking the seat for herself, she let the current prince, Prince Kevin Jackson, take it to himself, as he had done most of the work. But you would know her to be that sort of individual. This torador has her own wily ways, and she is, of course, very, very connected, such as yourself. But the two of you kind of step in to. Do you take her to the previous room, or do you take her to a new room?
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
I take her basically with the knowledge that I would have of her. I will take her to a room that fits her tastes.
Okay, yeah. You would know that she prefers to feed on people of high society, perhaps on the more adulterous side of things. But
The same.
But yeah, you take her to a particular room, and as the both of you enter, you would see 3 naked individuals in very compromising positions at this point. They're still adorning their masks and whatnot, but 2 of them seem to be wearing leather straps all across their bodies, while one of them seems to be tied up against a nearby bed frame that is kind of stood up. And they are engaging in acts of the BDSM nature, as they kind of whip this individual around. You hear words of demeaning, kind of degrading nicknames per se, to keep it PG here. But yeah, okay, well, dear God, okay. Welcome. But yeah, as these people engage in acts, it seems to be 2 females and 1 male. The male is the one that is strapped to the bed, while the 2 female dominatrixes are kind of, playing along with this little game of teasing, as they kind of use their whips and chains to pleasure this individual, as he is blindfolded at the moment, screaming in agony for them to do more than just tease him. But yes, the 2 of you walk in. Annabelle gives you a rather stark kind of gasp as she kind of eyes you up and down and says, "Wow, well, aren't you the bold one to take me to this room without engaging in, well, dining first?"
Darling, I know your tastes. The man strapped to the bed. He ran for mayor last year. You don't recognize him? The woman beside him. She works for Hennessy and Johnson. Best lawyer firms in town. The other woman, she owns the art gallery there. Coterie. Look at all your people.
She licks the top of her teeth as she maintains that wicked smile. Her eyes dart back and forth between these 3 prey. "Well, if you're offering," she says to you, as she swivels and turns. She turns around and begins to walk towards these individuals, as she begins to loosen up a little bit, as she drags the strap of her dress down just a tiny bit, and you see her trail her fingers across the individual strapped to or tied to the bed frame, and she puts her hands upon the hips of these 2 individuals next to her rather seductively, as she gives them a kiss or 2. And you would notice, as she does this, without a roll, that she is using a bit of her presence in the moment as she becomes supernaturally more attractive. Not that she needs it, it's more of a flex to you, perhaps. With your 4 successes on your insight, she is flexing her abilities at you. Not that she
Make
needs
sure the
to.
door is shut.
Of course. And she begins to feed as she bites down on one of these individuals' necks and begins to consume and partake in the blood. My question to you, Mordecai, is do you do the same?
I wait and watch.
Okay, just watch her do the deed. Not a problem. And yeah, you do. It takes a little bit of time. She takes her time. And she dramatically turns around as she puts her strap back on to her shoulder. She licks the top of her teeth as she wipes away a bit of blood. And these 3 individuals, kind of lost in the kiss, kind of just slump over there and enjoy the ecstasy of which she has just given them. Well, now that you've dined me, why don't we get down to the serious matters then? Unless, of course, you don't want to get serious.
Haven't come just to soiree. What brings the most beautiful?
She looks at you seductively with her eyes as she kind of trails a finger on your shoulder down to your arm as she says, "Can't I pay a visit to my favorite satite?"
Far too low. So, not here just to partake. Yes.
She rolls her eyes.
This is before pleasure, my dear.
Always spoiling the mood. Whatever. She turns and drops her seductive demeanor immediately as you, with your 4 success, you saw right through her.
It's the snake.
I was just wondering if you'd like to partake in a particular auction happening soon. A view of your stature will, of course, draw more clientele, and I would really appreciate it if you would invite those of the higher class to this particular auction, being held, of course, at the Stanley Greer Mansion.
Bidding against each other.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You're a little low.
Are we going to bid against each other? We have common goals.
Well, I don't want to say we're gonna bid against each other, but there will be a bit of a friendly competition for the show. There will be very interesting things for you to see. Some paintings, some sculptures here and there, and maybe some occult artifacts you'd be interested in.
Related. Am I your +1 or should I bring someone else?
She eyes you up and down once again. And are you trying to persuade her to be your +1 in this very moment, or do you not care?
Sure. Let's turn on the charm.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Let's
Go ahead
turn
and
it right up.
go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion, please.
It just seems. What's it? Since we're flexing, let's push right up to entrancement.
You're going to entrance the primogen.
Why not?
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's not a problem whatsoever.
If I fail,
Well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here as you flex entrancement on the primogen. Go ahead and roll a rouse check, please.
and is that the one next to the power, non-API rouse?
Let me see. Yeah, that it costs a rouse check. But yeah, the macro. Did you set up the macro for yourself?
Another. Okay, so. Where do I roll this?
So that would be your charisma and your presence versus her composure and wits.
I think I have any. Oh wait, yeah. Is this a social roll? I get my beauty.
No, when you're rolling your disciplines, your
That's right.
merits don't come into play.
Is there a-
You do get a power bonus, I believe. You can add a +1 die to that. Oh, you already rolled it. Go ahead and roll a 1d10 while she rolls against you. She is at blood potency or
That's it.
wits and composure.
Oof.
Okay. Okay. Well, things are gonna get pretty hairy. Okay. You scored a 3 on that, and she rolled an 8 on a messy crit. Okay. How do you do this, by the way? How do you entrance Annabelle? What do you do in this moment as you use your presence against the primogen?
Subtly. I don't want to be overt with it. I want to basically sort of just. She was pressing. She was flexing with her awe. She was sort of feeling out how far she could get away. And so I just wanted to. Actually, I don't want to do anything with it, honestly. I just want to basically have her realize that control is mine. But it's sort of I want to confuse her in a way. I want to basically have her feel that the control I am relinquishing to her, even though she wants to relinquish control to me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, with 8 successes, that is a 5-point margin over you. As your eyes lock upon hers and you begin to use the blood to entrance her, or cast your discipline at her, you see her not flinch. Actually, in this moment, you see her smile drop as her gaze towards you lingers. You can feel that she's unaffected by this. And you know she realizes what you've just done. Because it is a messy crit, she bares her fangs at you in this moment as she licks the top of her teeth once again as she says, "Oh, and I thought you would act better around the primogen. Well, since you're so adamant in trying to maintain control and trying to use your presence against me," her eyes flash in this moment as she mesmerizes you and says, "Why don't you kneel down and kiss my hand?" Go ahead and roll your intelligence and resolve as she rolls her manipulation and her dominate.
This isn't going to go well.
You do get a power bonus of a +1. So anytime you guys are using a power bonus at your current blood potency, you guys get a +1 to all your discipline rolls.
Yeah, not so much.
Okay, she crushes it. She crushes
To
it.
be fair, I would have done it better.
That's true. But it is in this moment that you, Mordecai, as your eyes glaze over, you feel her words echo within your mind, and you are forced to kneel down yourself, and you take her hand very gently, almost as if this was something extremely precious, and your lips kind of land upon her soft, cold skin, as she herself bites at her tongue, at her fingernail, and with her other hand, as this excites her quite a bit. And she says, "Now who's a good little snake?"
Do I know I was Masquerade?
You would after some time you would know. Yeah, after you've done the deed, you would know exactly what just happened. If you ever try that again, I could do worse than this. But since you're my favorite, and she kind of caresses the side of your face, very, very intimately, she says, "I'll let you go this one time." As she kind of raises your head up, kind of gesturing for you to stand up straight.
I stay down there.
Oh, you stay.
Just for a
Oh,
moment.
you stay down there. Okay.
It felt better. Keep her fingers. Press her hand to my lips again. Say to her, "You needn't have done it."
And at this point, with those 4 successes on your insight, you would know that she's a bit turned on right now, as she kind of smiles at you wickedly once again. Her seductive demeanor reappears, and she caresses you continuously. "Unfortunately, I already have a date for the auction, but Elysium will take place tomorrow, and you are more than welcome to take Alec's place as my +1.
Alex.
Oh, without a roll, you would know Alec de Romas is a clanmate of yours.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she kind of, oh, sorry about that. She kind of smiles at you. And, well, she raises you up. And she says, "Well, this was just a courtesy visit. I think I'll go ahead and enjoy myself to the party." It was nice seeing you, Mordecai. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Open the door for me.
Au revoir, she says to you, as she kind of blows a kiss in the air towards your direction as she walks out. Okay. And we will pause the scene there for Mordecai as we fade out to black, and we cut back to the streets on the Lower West Side of Chicago, where Mr. Toledo is now obfuscated and giving chase to Colin Watts. He kind of looks around down the street as you see him kind of pace himself. He seems to be out of breath at this point, but he can't see you. So, what do you do, Bully?
Continue watching. So he was running, or is he?
He's now made it down the street. He seems to be more paranoid than anything, and his eyes shift left to right, looking up and down the alleyway and whatnot. But to your right, you can see this pathway towards this rather abandoned area. It's isolated, it's secluded. It's a little dark for you to just point out, but he is just down the street. So you're gonna have to use your movement in order to get to him, unless you use your celerity. If you have celerity.
I'll keep very quietly and visibly stalking him. Toledo likes a nice, slow hunt. Not a hunt, he's here to mentor this kid who remembers.
Might be that Banu Hakim coming out. But you make your way there, stalking your quote-unquote prey. But you see him kind of move towards an alleyway and duck in behind. And what you notice, without a roll... Actually, let's make this a roll for you, as you might be able to hear the conversation ensuing. Roll your wits and awareness, please, or your wits and investigation, whichever one. Keep in mind you can rouse the blood to increase your dice pool.
I will do just that, because the way I've been rolling. Get a little hungry.
Okay, yeah. What hunger are you at?
Just 3.
Just 3.
No
Teetering on the
problems
edge.
here. You said wits and investigation was an option?
Up, wits and investigation, wits and awareness, whichever one. And you make your way down, of course, obfuscated, no stealth roll needed, as you are unseen.
So I was again 1 or 2 for a blood potency.
It's gonna be 2 extra dice for you.
I thought. Switch over. I'm gonna use another willpower. I have to roll at least 1 decent roll.
Okay, way to come back from that with 4 successes. Yeah, with a bit of your willpower, you kind of, line against the walls as you kind of stalk your prey and listen in on what the hell's going on. With those 4 successes, you would hear a conversation, a one-sided conversation happening. You would hear the frantic voice of this young person, this young kindred. Well, you don't know he's kindred yet, but he says, No, not tonight. Not tonight. No, I can't. Not tonight, please. I have class. I mean, I swear, I won't do it again. I swear, please, just let me go this one time. I swear, I won't do it again. I swear. He keeps swearing, as if it's almost like he is praying to someone. I won't do it. I'll do whatever you ask. Just don't hurt her, okay? He says, out pleading for mercy. Do you round the corner and peek?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. As you do, you take a peek. Just as you kind of move your eyes across and peek across the alleyway itself, you would notice an individual in front of Watts himself. This individual seems to be wearing... It's rather dark, but with your 4 successes, I'll give you this. He's wearing a cloak. He's wearing a sort of masquerade mask. And he's wearing... In the cloak, he adorns, kind of has a hood in itself, of itself, and it is crimson red. Even with those 4 successes, I would say you even notice just a hint of flash underneath that mask, a hint of red flash underneath those that mask in his eyes. You don't hear what he says, though, but you see Watts get on his knees as he clasps his fingers together, almost praying to this gentleman or this gentlewoman, as he says, I'll get it done tomorrow, I swear. It is at this point that the red eyes kind of flare once again as they shine your direction. And within this very moment, just this split second, this cloaked individual smacks this kid right up the face, perhaps knocking him out as he kind of falls to the ground, and turns around and simply vanishes into the darkness. What do you do?
Still unseen. Toledo's gonna grab this case on the way out. He'll set it down at his feet. Open up a guitar case. Pluck his sword. He'll sit out of there. Some shady things going on in this alley. And Toledo likes to be the most dangerous thing in any alleyway, so he's going to arm himself just in case this vanishing act decides to reappear in an inopportune time.
My question is, do you have heightened senses or sense the unseen or anything that could help you see in the dark?
Do not.
Okay, well, yeah, you wouldn't. After the person kind of just vanishes into the darkness, you don't see him anymore. It just seems to fade away.
I've seen people disappear. I disappear until I don't. And when I don't, it's usually bad. So just in case this person has got the same thing on his mind. Armed, taking the sword, resting it in his right hand. Gonna just slowly scrape it against his palm, coating the blade in his blood, willing some of the special bit of vitae over the sword.
Okay, all right.
Just can't get more hungry, right?
Yeah, you succeed on your rouse check.
Finally.
You coat your sword, this blade of yours, in this vitae of yours. There's a bit of poison in it. You know what it is. You've done this before. You know exactly how to use this weapon. And as you approach this place, kind of, stealthily, of course, you notice Colin sort of struggle to get up as blood seems to pour out of his mouth. He cries. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, he says to himself.
Well, as long as he's not looking, I'll get as close as I can to him. Just maybe behind him if possible, and clear my throat, drawing attention to myself, dropping the obfuscate.
The moment you do, are you behind him at this point? And kind of just crept up on him?
Yes.
Okay. He continues to murmur some gibberish under his end as he says, I'm sorry. I promised them you wouldn't get hurt. I promised them, Catherine. I promised you, Catherine. I promised.
Everything all right, son? Seem to be in the... Oh, easy.
He kind of gets spooked by your sudden entry. Oh shit, man. Oh.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's okay.
What the hell?
I thought I saw something weird going on in the alleyway, and I decided to do my civic duty and investigate.
No, it's nothing. I swear, it's nothing. I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, I just fell over. I tripped over myself, and I'm just helping myself up. I kind of hit my face on the. He kind of looks to the nearby garbage disposal. The dumpster.
Colin, you're doing a lot of yammering. I'll look at the sword. I'm a cut straight to the point kind of guy.
He looks at you with a bit of fear in his eyes. Am I in trouble? I swear, it wasn't me this time, I swear.
That's what I'm asking. Are you in trouble? You seem to be in a bit of a bind. You seem to be all hat and no cattle right now, son.
Cattle? What are you, some sort of cowboy? Oh shit. You're one of them crazy types, aren't you?
No. Just old-fashioned. Not from around here.
He coughs out a little bit of blood in his hands. Oh shit. Oh, fuck.
What's going on?
Fuck. Oh, shit, nothing. I probably just need to eat or something. Fuck. And you can see that without a roll, he's probably on the verge of freaking the fuck out. You see it in his eyes. You recognize this. You feel the beast within this kid.
I'm a bagger. Would I happen to have any blood bags in my case?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Is your feeding preference? So I imagine you carry like 4 or 5 at a time.
When possible, absolutely. So I'll say you just wait right here. I'll take a few steps over to my case.
Oh shit! Oh shit! He stands up as he notices you. You still have that sword on here, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he starts freaking out. You hear him kind of get up, struggling to keep his shit together as he kind of falls over next to a dumpster, struggling once again. And he says, "Oh fuck, please, I don't want to die. I don't want to die, sir."
Look like you need a drink. You're not yourself when you're thirsty. Try this.
Oh shit! Oh shit, man! Oh shit! Nothing comes for free. Nothing comes for free. This is wrong. I ain't gonna take this shit. You're probably one of those types that are gonna make a deal with me, and I have to like pay up somehow or offer you a boon or something, right? This is one of those Camarilla bullshit things.
I'm terrible at keeping track of boons. I just want to know what the hell's going on.
Fuck.
Maybe something I could even help you out with. Seems like you're in a real pickle, son.
You see
I
the
saw
blood
that.
welling up in his eyes at this point. Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you just noticed that there's blood now kind of welling up in his eyes.
Yeah, I'll step up. I'll sort of put the blood back. Who was that you were talking to? That one that's got you all rattled like a snake.
He looks to you, then looks to the blood bag you just offered, looks to you again, and he snatches it from your hand as he begins to tear it open and begins to suck it dry like a Capri Sun. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. And of course, he's fucking lying out of his ass.
All right. Fortunately, my patience. Saintly most nights. It is starting to run a little bit. So, perhaps the next words out of your mouth will be who that individual was who vanished and what they want you to do. Or else I can make you tell. That's just I'm already hungry as it is. I don't want to eat.
Fear in his eyes grow. Why don't you go ahead and roll your either your charisma and intimidation or your manipulation and intimidation. You can add a +2 because of this situation. With your coated sword, with the shady shit going on, it's not a very high difficulty either. Okay. With 3 successes, Toledo, you see him drop the dried up bag of blood that you gave him as his mouth kind of falls agape and he says, I'm sorry, mister, I'm sorry, okay, I tried praying, I tried everything. I tried the way of God, I tried the way of the Lord, I've confessed my sins to Father, but I cannot atone for what I've done. For the things happening. I've endangered a few of my friends because of my stupid decisions, he says to you, now blood tearing up, kind of falling to his cheeks and whatnot.
While he does this, can I reach out and wipe my...
Sure,
all right.
Absolutely.
He's like gonna put my...
Oh no, you're gonna eat me, aren't you? Just like they did with the others.
I just get a taste. All right. Say,
I'm sorry, what was that? You kind of cut out there.
I'm gonna use a taste for blood.
Sure, absolutely.
For kindred, less than that.
Actually, you don't need to make a roll for this. I'll give this to you as the blood immediately is... You taste it, and it's... You're a Banu Hakim. You've tasted other people's blood before, other kindreds, but this... This is different. It is thinner. It is less potent. The flavor of it is off-putting, to say the least, but it does taste better than mortal blood, but there's something about it that doesn't sit right with you. You can tell that he is a thin blood. He is not exactly of high generation either. And that potency in his blood it's disgusting, to say the least.
You're one of them. I'm sorry, son. Just sort of wipe my blood off. Yeah, you're in a bad spot. I get it. Someone making you do stuff you don't want to do because of kind of your blood and whatnot.
Oh, no. It was my fault, really. I did it. I did it, okay? I did it. It was me.
I'll take your confession right now. Perhaps this will work out. I'm down. Oh, Father, would you?
I saw something I shouldn't have. I saw something I shouldn't have. That's what I did. More panic comes to his eyes as more tears run down his cheeks. I saw something I shouldn't. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I fucked everything up for everyone. I fucked everything up with Catherine.
Seeing something in and of itself isn't a sin. Mind sharing what you saw is causing all this trouble.
I went to this meeting, right? They said it was going to be fun. They said it was going to be, just a meetup with other people, and they're going to introduce me to other kindred that are, like me.
Okay.
But it wasn't like that at all. There was no one like me there. It was more of these people doing all sorts of adulterous things. They want to. They were in all sorts of compromising positions, and there were so many naked people, and there was so much blood. Blood everywhere.
Describing those are sins for sure. All right, adultery, that's on there. Probably. You're a little young to be doing that stuff anyway. What sort of pervert invited you to something like this?
They told me to go there. I promise. Some cloaked individual.
The person you're just talking to, mask and all that.
No. He was wearing a black robe. It was like this father something. I forgot his name, but he told me that there was gonna be people like lost souls or whatever. And I went to this chapel. I don't know, on the western end of the city, and it was. I mean, it was fun outside, and there was a lot of pretty girls and all that. But Catherine didn't like that. But she kind of stopped me from going in. But I was like, no, I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna take a peek and see what's going on. And I saw those naked people, and there was just so many. It was just so bloody.
Who's this Catherine you keep going on about?
She kind of
made you this.
No, Catherine, no. Catherine, she's my, and she kind of, you see a bit of shyness kind of form in his face. His frantic demeanor kind of softens at this point as he kind of thinks about this girl.
You're sweet on her, aren't you?
I mean, she's not my girlfriend or anything, okay? I haven't asked her yet, but...
Why not? Handsome man like yourself, brave and whatnot. Any girl would be lucky to have you.
Ooh, seems like you're trying to calm him down. Go ahead and roll your charisma and your leadership at this point. Or charisma and persuasion, whichever one.
Let's see.
Just to calm him down just a bit. You can tell the way you're talking to him right now it's working. perhaps to your
Rouse
advantage.
the blood and accidentally eat them, but have a better chance of knocking them? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's go. So, I'm gonna rouse the blood. I have blood bags on me, so I might sip on one as I continue.
Sure, yeah. May I add 2 bonus dice to this. Not a very high difficulty, as you've gotten to start talking about Catherine.
Because of the blood surge or an addition?
Just +2 from the blood surge. Okay. Would you like to succeed at a cost?
But
Okay. As you begin to calm him down, perhaps trying to urge the beast to help you out in this particular moment, you grab the blood bags and you wolf them down quite beast-like as you slake your hunger down. But he himself, as you try to calm him down, it's not working, as he begins to freak out even more as he sees you consume all of those blood bags in your hands as you slake a point of hunger. And he says, "Oh my God, please, I don't want to die. I still have so much to live for. I'm only 19. Please, sir." As he kind of kneels down onto you right now, just much the same way as he did with the earlier individual, as he grabs the back of your knees and he hugs them. "Please, Father, please, I don't want to die."
yes, yeah, Toledo will lost himself for a second, just squeezing blood bags, probably covered in blood at this point. The hell? Sorry, this happens sometimes. I told you I was getting hungry. Look, tell me the location of where this thing is. I'm gonna fix your problem for you. But moving forward, the church you were just at, that's a good place. There's good people there. If you can help, you go there. Talk with me. Whatever this other chapel is with the naked ladies, you don't need that. Young man's got enough going on in his life. Understand me? If anyone gives you trouble, you need a little bit of enlightenment. Maybe talk to Thomas. But trouble, talk to me.
He keeps hugging you and nods profusely at you.
Oh, you're a hugger? That's alright. I'll sort of hug him back. This is good. Alright, up we go, and I'll sort of pull him up. I don't like the graveling stuff. Whew. Alright, so where was this church at? This chapel? With the naked and the blood and whatnot?
I don't think they're open tonight. I was
That's fine.
I was there
Visit a different
earlier. And he kind of gives you points you in the direction on the west side of things. He will mention that it might take a car ride to get there, but you can walk there, but it'll take you some time.
How about go back to the church for now? Let's talk there. Are they trying to make you do something? I eavesdropped on a little bit of your conversation.
No, they weren't making me do anything. It was just, they were
threatening you just because you saw something you weren't supposed to see, trying to silence you. If they really wanted you dead, they would have done it already. I think you're catching up.
Please don't say those
Our
things.
kind of manipulate.
Please don't say those things. I still have
Important.
class.
Is class. What class? You said you're 19. In college?
Yeah. I go to this school. It's called it's the Stuart Freeman Academy.
Look, it sounds dumb, and I can't imagine anyone going to something like that. They'll probably-
Miss Naomi Stewart
Don't
would be
waste-
so
don't-
mad
don't-
at you if you said that.
Don't waste your time with stuff like that. You don't need college. I never went to college, if you could believe it. Look at me. I'm doing great.
As you up and down.
Sword and covered in blood.
Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of late for class though.
Yeah, no, get going. Consider yourself mentored. I did a good job tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. well,
Remember,
it's-
if someone gives you trouble, who are you gonna call?
The Ghostbusters?
No. Wait, I like that reference. Toledo. Father Toledo, technically, but just Toledo. Come to me, point back to where he came from. The church you're just in, that's going to be a safe spot for you, right? If you got to do confession, especially confession that might get you in trouble if the wrong people found out, I can listen. Not too long. I don't like hearing whining all night. I got shit to do. But I'll listen for a little bit, all right?
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, Father. Toledo. Toledo.
Toledo. Toledo. The hell are you hear Toledo from? Toledo.
Yes, Father. Yes.
Yeah. Also, where do you get off judging me for drinking my blood bags too messily? I thought we were having a good talk and you lost your shit just because I had to slurp a few now. That ain't cool. Be cool. I ain't judging you. Don't judge me. Actually, that's
pouts.
I judge a lot. You'll know when you're judged, though. You'll know something. Anyway, get off to school. Get to class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he kind of just like picks up his school bag, and he runs off to the night.
Okay.
And what do you do now, Mr. Toledo, or Father Toledo?
I'll go back and report to Thomas the conversation. See if he knows anything else about this weird blood sex chapel that this kid. Ask a little bit about that school too. Still trying to get my bearings in the city. See if it's something worth checking out now or waiting.
Okay. And we'll fast forward a little bit, as we are kind of running low on time. We'll fast forward a little bit as you get to Father, I believe Thomas. Was it Thomas himself? As he kind of approaches you and says, "How did it go?"
I did great. I was a great mentor, and I believed I saved a life tonight. He was being harassed by one of us, for sure. I'll sort of describe the masked, costumed figure who vanished. Those with thin blood. I forgot you guys, those type of people congregate when there's too many of us around. Really on the road, haven't ran into many of them myself. Tasted like cow piss, but anyway, yeah, thin blood. He's going to school. He's in trouble. But I made him feel better. Gave him some real good advice.
That is, on your first night, such a feat. I'm impressed, Father Toledo.
Yeah, I tend to impress people.
He nods at you. Well, I hope you continue this work and spread the word of God.
Absolutely. You see, I told him to come back here. That might be able to set him on the right direction. Religion didn't help him out before, but maybe he wasn't hearing the right things. Kind of got it figured out.
He nods. You do what you see fit, Father. If you'll excuse me, he kind of looks over his shoulder, and you notice that there are more troublemakers here and there, more lost souls, quote unquote, that seem to need guidance. It is at this point that Sister Isidora taps you on the shoulder. You were gone for a while.
Yeah, I had to talk my way through a situation. Haven't done that in a while. Went great though.
Oh, did you perhaps show him the right way? That boy.
I planted the idea. I think we'll see him again if he doesn't get killed. But maybe he'll be a good one to talk to.
I see. Well, there was a development with regards to things happening in the city. Here, she kind of pulls out from her bag a letter. On that letter, that white envelope, you would notice that there is a wax seal on it. And without a roll, you would know that that seal is your clan symbol.
Duty calls. Read the letter.
Okay. And that letter, it entails a particular event happening tomorrow evening. There is no sender name. There is no, but it is very much pointed in your direction, as it says, "My dear clanmate, the hunt has come for us once again, and we must unite under one banner tomorrow evening. Please be at attendance at a particular address that's listed there at 10 p.m. sharp." And that's it.
I'll fold it up, give it to Sister Isadora. You can read that, keep my schedule. I got somewhere to be tomorrow. I was hoping that would be a little more another job, but seems like it's more talking. That's all right.
"Will do so," she says as she tucks away the letter from the Banu Hakim, Permagin.
Make sure my nice shirt's ready.
"I always do, dear." And she kind of squeezes a bit of your cheek in this moment.
I'll cut that out. Oh, but could you do that thing I like where you the other day you ironed my pants where they had that little line in the front. I like that. I'm gonna try that again tomorrow.
She holds her her hands to her hips as she says, "I always have to follow your directions, don't I?"
It's a I'm complimenting you. You did something cool. I looked good. I didn't think it got any better than that, but you found a way to improve it after all this time. Kudos to you, sister.
She nods. You don't know if it's out of annoyance or agreeance, but she just simply nods at you. And the two of you continue your banter for the rest of the night as we pause the scene here, and we'll bounce the camera back to our young fledgling back at the Stuart Freeman Academy. Half hour has passed, Scarlet, as the three of you have kind of finished your conversation and whatnot. But Frankie would say, out of the blue, "I think it's time for us to get to class, right?"
Oh, yes, class. Where is class?
"I think it's down there," Brian says with his deep voice as he kind of points down towards the hallway. As I imagine you all have made yourselves out of the dormitories, and you would see just down the hall a few more students kind of start piling in, perhaps in an orderly fashion as they all start entering. Brian and Frankie, of course, just move in that direction as well. But you, Scarlet, what do you do?
I'm gonna walk towards class and see what the fuck it's all about.
Okay. I imagine you're gonna be the last one to go in because just of who you are.
I'd activate all. As I
You activate
walk in.
all. Okay. All right. You're gonna activate awe in the middle of all this. Okay. So, as you activate awe, you would draw attention from all sorts of people around you. There are some students who were the ones whispering around earlier that, you heard them say, "Oh my God, she's so hot," and now they're saying, "She's so pretty. Oh my God, look at her. She's so beautiful. I'd love to get to know her." It doesn't matter. It's boys, girls. They're all saying the same thing about you. And do you perhaps enjoy this situation, Scarlet, or do you simply ignore them?
I ignore them and sit in between Brian and Frankie.
Okay. Well, as you walk in through the door, you would notice a few since you were last, you would notice everyone around the room itself, and you can see Miss Naomi Stewart standing right in the middle, patiently waiting for her students. Behind her, you would see a white, what do you call it, board that seems to have some stuff written on it with Sharpies or what have yous they use. And around the room itself, there are bookcases upon bookcases lined up against the wall. They're tall. They have kind of all sorts of text, adorning all of them. All sorts of things you're not exactly interested in, but you would see Frankie and Brian sitting right in the middle, at the very back, while you see a few individuals seated up front. It is a normal classroom, of course. There's about 8, maybe 12 seats here. You'd see these individuals up on the screen. And you could immediately recognize that they are, of course, your, what do you call it? Your classmates. You would see an individual that seems to be wearing a red scarf. He seems to have spiky hair. He's got like light hazel eyes. He's got piercings to the side. He's wearing like a black jacket over the scarf. Next to him up front is a red-haired individual. She's got a lot of freckles on her face. She's very pretty. She got thin lips, bright green, bluish greenish eyes, and she adorns a very fit yoga-esque outfit. What you do notice next to her is a long-haired, curly-haired individual. Seems nondescript and whatnot. Seems a little loony to your taste. But what kind of draws your attention is the one sitting at the very corner of the room, at the very far end. It is the same woman with the dark ebony hair, kind of round features, and light, dark brown eyes. She looks at you very, very intensely as you walk in.
I'll take a seat beside the black-haired woman.
Okay. And as you do, she keeps staring at you, almost as if she has recognized a little something that she hasn't seen in a long time. Of course, you don't know who this individual is. You've never seen her in your life. But this moment is broken as your teacher says, "Well, I guess we're just missing one last person, are we not? Always running late, that Mr. Watts. Regardless, please take one of these documents and pass them behind you, and whoever to your side, you would note that this is your curriculum, or your material for this month." And as the pile of paper kind of gets passed around like a normal classroom, you would pick up what seems to be a document entitled "The Traditions." And you'd see it up on the screen. It is about 7, maybe 8, maybe 9 pages long, and they all detail all sorts of information. The very front page is a synopsis of what's going on, and the very first thing you recognize, of course, is the only thing you've been ever taught in your unlife. The first tradition that states the Masquerade. You will all find this material to be rather tedious to ingrain in your minds, but with enough time and effort, all of you will graduate and succeed to become fully functioning kindred of our society. Tonight, we welcome 3 new kindred in town. A few new students sent from varying places around the world. Please stand up and introduce yourselves, she says out loud as she points and gestures to the 3 of you. Miss Willows, I'd like you to begin. Introduce yourself and let us know what clan you belong to. Frankie stands up as she says, Frankie Willows, Clan Gangrel. Brian stands up next as he, with his deep voice, Brian Thompson. Nosferatu, he says with a rumbled voice. And everyone turns to you, scarlet eyes kind of piercing your figure as your awe has now come to full fruition.
I stand up slowly and then I say, I am Scarlet Lian of Clan Toreador. It is nice to meet everyone.
As you say those words, you hear this phrase. Actually, he yells it out loud. And she's super hot. Shit, look at her. And the whole crowd goes crazy as they all laugh at you in this particular moment. And Chester, kind of reviling in this particular moment, sits back cockily on his chair as he puts his arm around Kathleen.
I'd ignore and just sit down. I'd pretend he doesn't exist.
Oh, I see you, girl. Okay. He kind of looks behind him to your shoulder and looks at you. Hard to get type. Okay, I see you. We'll see about that in a few nights, huh? And he kind of just eyes Miss Stewart, who is currently now just staring daggers at him as she stands over him and says, Mr. Chester Brown, please keep your uncouthly comments to yourself for the remainder of the evening.
Talking big for a small child.
Miss Leanne, it would be very nice of you to perhaps not use your disciplines within my domain as a form of respect. She is now looking directly into your eyes. You see a bit of a demeanor shift, and the aura around her kind of ripple. It's as she activates her daunt. You will find that if you follow my instructions and the traditions laid out in front of you, that you will succeed here within my academy. Do you understand?
Of course, I understand it. I do apologize once again. I do not know of our traditions.
Good. Now, we shall begin our first lesson. She kind of cuts you off in that mid-sentence. You can tell that she is clearly someone of high stature. Perhaps with an insight roll, go ahead and roll your wits and insight. You can identify what kind of person or what clan she belongs to. Yeah, the 2 successes. You've heard of them. You know exactly what their type is. Your sire has talked about them briefly. She is of the clan of kings, the rulers of such. She is a Ventrio. And a bit of your blood kind of, gets annoyed at this point, but you keep it to yourself. It is your first night here after all, along with Frankie and Brian. And as she begins to write down things up on the board, you would notice the first few words she writes down is the Masquerade. And you know all too well about that, don't you, Scarlet?
Yes. I don't
The
think
Masquerade. Thou shalt not reveal thy true nature to those not of the blood. Doing so shall renounce the claim of blood itself, and heavy punishment will be administered to those who breach it. She looks around the room, making sure to keep eye contact with each and every student. And eventually it falls upon yours. While some of you may choose to obey this tradition, others, and she looks at you once again, choose to feel they are above the laws of the Camarilla For our first lesson, I suggest you all take careful notes. And we will end the scene there as Scarlet perhaps flips over her notebook and begins to write down a few profanities against Miss Stewart. We see fucking bitch written right at the very top of her notebook. We'll end the session here for our session 0.5 and begin the chronicle next week.
Well, you did great, Lou.
Awesome job, Lou.
Okay.
Awesome.